Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are back with another episode of the Dodcast, Season 5, Episode 8. You know how I don't have to check? It's because I just started to record this thing. I made it 3 minutes into the recording, and then I realized that my mic wasn't attached. Aha! And in the process of all that, I also had a FaceIt cue pop for some reason, even though I'm recording the Dodcast. For some reason, they were cueing me in to FaceIt, so it's fine to have restarted this. We're recapping Anjou. We're predicting the final week of the regular season in gold, second last week of the regular season for silver. It's Lennon 2. I think of it as Lennon 2 Test, because it is mostly Lennon Test, right? Just updated to that. And there is actually a Lennon 2, like Lennon 2 B1, Lennon 2 B2. So in my mind, it's Lennon 2 Test if I say that over and over again. Don't blame me. Also, we got the CS2 Major going on. Let's go Spirit. I can see there. Spirit looks like they're about to force a third map. Winner of this series, Spirit versus Na'Vi. Moving on to the final 8. Unfortunately, my boys in G2, and I also love Nertz on Heroic. Both of them are 1 and 2 and on the verge of elimination, as is FaZe. So very, very frustrating the way things have gone thus far in the CS2 Major for my particular fanhood. But if Spirit can at least win this game and get through, that makes me happy. Regardless, moving into the game that we play that is, just a little bit less popular than CS2, we've got to do this frag of the week right off the bat. It was made by Caleb. We know he was supposed to make the Armory frag of the week initially and then couldn't, which is why you see right here it looks to be a Saints clip first, because I'm guessing he got a nice Saints recap clip, so he just decided to put it in this anyways, because he was originally going to make it the week after Saints. So yeah, we're going to get into the frag of the week first, and then we will get into the Anjou recap, and then the predictions for Lennon 2 Test. It's a blizzard here right now, and according to the weather report, freezing fog. Something I don't believe I've ever heard in my life. Freezing fog. I don't know what that is, but we're going to find out. Alright, so, frag of the week, made by Caleb. I don't think I've forgotten anything else. Just going to double check and see what's going on here. Looks like Na'Vi's getting round 5, unless they can, Spirit can win this 2v3, but I'm thinking they should probably not even try. Although, retaking B site on Ancient isn't too bad. It just doesn't look like a very good scenario for them. Oh, they got the opening kill. Bits lurking around short. Chopper gets a second one as well. Oh my god. E-main, a 1v2. They swapped the up over to Chopper since he's on 3 HP. Oh, and they got to spam away on the plant. What a play. I can't believe they actually win that round. I thought they should just save. Now they're on map point. So let's go Spirit. I think we're going to get a map 3, which means I really want to finish this in a timely manner so I can actually see all of map 3. Na'Vi did make a little bit of a mistake in the pick ban as they let Mirage get all the way through to map 3, which is basically Spirit's home map. Sorry for the people out there that don't watch Counter-Strike that are listening to this and are like, shut the fuck up. Alright, let's get into the frag of the week here by Caleb Anjou. Can I see what the music is before I even look? No, it's not on there. Sometimes you can hit the info and see exactly what songs to expect. Okay. Oh, what the fuck is going on? Actually, I think I need to turn off one of these fucking streams first. Ecstatic Furia here, loser is out. I'm gonna turn that one off. Let's go back to the start. No, it's still skipping a little bit. Huh. I'm gonna pause this too. Please don't... It's still skipping! I'm just gonna see if maybe if I let it play, it'll stop skipping as much. It's stealth! Oh no, it's skipping more and more. Okay. Not sure what is going on with that, but I'm gonna try to figure it out. Let me put this on... maybe 1440p. I'm just gonna close this for now. Is there any other reason for me to think this might fuck up? Let's go back. I wish it would just buffer up. Okay, now it looks like it's running smoothly. I heard about this stealth clip, though, heading into the week of Armory. I heard he had a crazy clip on Saints. Got 4. He just can't stay away from that scoped weaponry. Oh, that's unfortunate. What's that? 6 kills for stealth? 7 kills for stealth? 8 kills for stealth? Jesus Christ. 9 kills for stealth? 10 kills for stealth? What a fucking clip, though, for Kevin there. Jesus. Oh, and we're picking right back up with stealth here. A smart man not even bothering to snipe on this half. I should have known that. Nice shot. Later. In Sam, I saw he had in the HLTV quite a bit of frags this half. I need you right now. Damn. Let's get lost tonight. You could be my Black Cape Moss tonight. Oh, I know what this is. I definitely casted this. As I said, shades of Kaboom in Mutiny 2. Or Surge in Mutiny 1. And that frag of the week. Actually, it wasn't Surge, it was Mission. Oh, nice clip, Illusion. Still going, too. Oh, no, different clip now. We've seen Illusion on Shamil doing this, too, in seasons past. Against Jetty, I believe it was. More Kevin. Kevin looks like he had a fun game. Ooh. That can't get much stronger. Man, I've been waiting all night now. That's how long I've been on ya. Little trance action. Oh, he's going for it. He got it. The ball's on this man to go for the Bayo there. Just massive. Still going. And then War Within backing him up, too. I think, right? This is the same clip. Yeah, there's the prone dead body. Wow, nice clip, War. Nice. I haven't got to see Asani play too much. I mean, this guy looks like a fucking seasoned DoD veteran. It's absolutely crazy. He does not look like a new player at all. Nice, Azilla. Big Alaska represent. Yeah. Oh, yeah, a little Luco. Nice shot. I approve. This match provides one of the big stories of the week, too. That Low Swick versus High Rollers Gaming. I always want to call them horn-rimmed glasses, because HRG, when Heroes was on, that's the way that you would shorten the guy with the horn-rimmed glasses. If you watch Heroes, you know what I'm talking about. Some more Insam Corey action. Getting pushed up in Upperwood. Smart nade. Wow. Nice shot. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Unfortunate. That's a sweet frag of the week right there, though. Damn. I can't even remember if I had anything I could have submitted to this. It's been a rough season for the Jaginator, switching classes all the time, just not quite able to get his act together. All right, let me swap this over to the screenshots for the week. I have no idea who's making the frag of the week next week, by the way. I'm guessing it'll be War Within again, but don't quote me on that. In fact, don't quote me on anything, because I don't know shit about fuck. Alright, where are we? Go like that. KTP League Discord. There it is. Alright. Let's get into it. So obviously, Anjou, a big point of discussion this week. I gave my opinions on it last week in the Dodcast when predicting it. And, I mean, you gotta give credit to Nine. He has listened to what everybody has said about it. I personally sat there with Tony in Discord and watched him address everything that I brought up effectively. So, in future versions, I feel like this thing is going to be actually like a better version of Shamil, where the play styles are able to be more dynamic. There's not as many like hard choke bottleneck points and stuff like that. I saw just a lot of really great changes for the sake of gameplay when I was watching him go over shit. I haven't seen a final version of it, but like he addressed nading over wood. He addressed making the broken door into a broken door again. The window for underpass was made smaller and further over to the right, so you didn't have that insane angle onto the actual underpass flag. So it gives the allies like a chance to actually win that battle more often. Um, Closing down the cap zone of underpass a little bit so you can sneak by it as a bar and bait the flag, which is, I mean, really for both halves, heavying underpass, that is a very important play to be made. So that's another awesome change. I know that there's a lot of fucky skybox stuff with grenades, which I didn't even know about it at the time that I recorded the last Dodcast. I didn't find out about this until right, like the night of the matches, like right before our match. Where there was a bunch, like, nades that I otherwise thought were, like, really crazy, like, you had to really aim these nades to get them into certain spots. You could actually just throw them straight up into the air, and they would hit a skybox and drop into wood, or not wood, puddle, upper puddle, and the window at underpass, and I think there was another one as well. Oh, the triple windows, you could just nade over the top of like the whole puddle and underpass and just get it to hit a skybox and drop into triple windows. So that was another one. What else? The hallway of bunker was brightened up, which was another really good one, I think. What else was there? Oh, in connector, a lot of people, because it was so tight between the ladder and the wall of the connector, people were kind of getting stuck on the ladder. He spaced that out more. Like he did. He addressed certainly every concern that I had. So yeah. I mean, I think generally speaking, most of what I said I saw brought up by different people in different ways. And overall, I mean, that's the point of it, right? And the thing is, like, from my aspect, I don't have anyone to blame but myself. I didn't scrim the map until the week of, like, if I had scrimmed the map 3 months ago, maybe this is something that could have been done long before this point. That's what it comes down to. Like, most of us didn't play the map just in general in the community until the week of the matches. And that's the kind of thing that you need when making maps, right? You need feedback from as many eyes as you can get. And yeah, I look forward to the final product with this map because I think just with a few things addressed, the things that I've seen him already basically address, right? I think this could be a really sweet fucking map. It's still, like, it played fine, I know that there was also issues with the config, because the Shamil config, for what, I don't really know why this is, but the Shamil config, even though this is basically Shamil and the flags are the same, it played out differently on Anjou in some way. Like, Axis were getting no points for holding underpass, and they were getting 1 point for holding their first, right? While Allies was getting no points for holding their first and getting 2 points for holding underpass. Both teams were getting, I believe it was 2 points for holding factory, or maybe it was just 1. And then Allies capping the Axis first weren't getting a point for holding it. Like, there was a bunch of weird shit going on with the config. But that, I know, has already been taken care of. I don't know that it made any difference when all was said and done. I think overall, like, the score differentials end up being the same. If I understand correctly. I don't know. Who knows? Who fucking knows? I don't know. It's driving me crazy talking about fucking tick points for the last few days. Let me tell you. I have become way too acquainted with tick points. But props, again, to 9. Because he didn't just... And it's not easy to do this, let me tell you. When it comes to anything that you're doing in the eye of a whole community like this, and you get criticism from it, it's not easy to just take it and try to fix it. It's very easy. I've done it a million times where you take it personally. It's very easy. And 9 did not do that. He took the things that were said and went and tried to fix them. And that's what matters, right? Like, doing something like this for a community as a whole, You know, you're not always going to get it right the first time, and that's why the community exists to be playtesting these things. And that's how we're going to get more maps to play, you know? If we don't want to be playing the same 6 maps forever, then people are going to have to put out new maps. When people put out new maps, they're not going to be great at first. I can assure you of that. I've seen about 25 new maps come out in competitive play in DoD history, and none of them were ever fucking good the first time. Just period. There was oodles of problems with every new map. This is no different than that, I assure you. And I'm sure many of you can attest to that fact. When Lennon first came out, that map was a fucking shit show. Oh my god. I mean, you saw most teams in Invite just bazooking and MGing and grease gunning all over that map in their matches the first time it got played because it was such a disaster. But they took the feedback on those maps and made it better until eventually Lennon, just a few seasons later, was a staple. Harrington was a new map. Not great when it first came out. Now we all play Harrington all the fucking time, etc., so on and so forth. So just something to keep in mind. You know, like I said, I was very vocal about the whole thing, and went and talked to Tony myself too, and he did exactly what needed to be done, which is just to look at the whole picture and see what people are saying, and then try to sift through it, find the problems that were most prevalent, most gameplay based, find the glitches, get rid of those, etc., and then improve upon it. So mad kudos to that, because I personally, if I was making maps, would have trouble dealing with that, because I'm very sensitive, as we all know. So let's just get into the recap, as I have now already wasted 16 minutes talking about mostly nothing. Really only 4 of those minutes had a point behind them, which was watching the frag of the week. Alrighty then, let's get into Silver. I only got to cast a little bit this week. I actually only got to cast the one game, which I believe was what? Was it Romario Saab? I do believe. Yes. Did I actually get to cast all this game? I don't remember. I might have missed a half of this game, to be honest. I already, because it's been such a fucking long few days. But let's just get right into it. This was a game that had stuff on the line. Saab looking to move up in the standings, but as we can see there, Romario was able to hold them off 285 to 258. It was a close game, 27 points. So, looking at I'm just going to say first half, because I forget already which half was which. For Saab on Axis side here, it was 138 to 136. Saab wins their Axis side, while being out-fragged by 36, though, which is kind of impressive to still win that half. Let me make sure I'm not misreading that. 130, yeah, they did. They won. Okay, so, for Saab, King Yo had a really, really nice game here all around in the Grand Stas. I do remember that. 27 and 21 there with the Stas. Top fragging by 11 kills over the next player on his team, just doing everything he can. After that, you had Toki at 16, Scotty at 15, Manor at 13, JN at 12, and Caleb at 10. You know, I mean, as a sniper for Toki here, like, sniping this map is not easy. Axis side, I think it plays a little bit different than Shamil in regards to the snipers. I think the Axis side sniper on this iteration of the map was significantly more impactful, because you had, with the broken door just being open and how immensely rotatable it is, and all the extra spots you kind of have as an Axis player to fuck around now sniping, I do think Axis side a little bit more of an advantage on the sniper than Allies side. Of course, you look at this half and you see on the Romario side, 28 kills on Bud, 27 and 12 for Mand. So Mand had no problems either side here. Not surprised, Mand is a absolute sniping god. Rafinha at 22, 21 for BLK, who was the MVP of this game, looked excellent again on the Grand Stas. That rifle team of Romario is ridiculous. 17 kills for LZL and 14 for Matt. Matt playing what Bud used to do for T3, right? That's the role he plays with this team. Now Bud is kind of that point man on the heavies, and Matt makes sure that when those guys on his route dies, they're not just giving up the route because the third or second player has just run straight forward, which is an important thing to have on your heavy team. And then into this half now is 149 to 120. Romario takes this one. No JN in this screenshot, so I'm not positive where he ended up. I forget. But looking at the Saab side, I did talk about this leading into the game. Manor. Always has great allied halves on Shamil, or in this case, Anjou. 27 kills for him there, top fragging. 17 for Caleb. 15 a pop for Toki and Kingyo, and 14 for Scotty. And then on the Romario side, a 29-point win. We can't tell exactly what the frag total win was there, but I'm going to say probably about 30. But 26 on Rafinha with the car, 25 for BLK there on the Stas. He had a lot of multi-kills at big moments in that half. 24 for Bud on the STG, just continuing to be an absolute staple for this team, putting up good performances week in and week out. 22 for LZL, 20 for Mand. So it looks like Mand had a little bit less impact on the Axis side, so it just goes to show you I don't know shit. And then 18 kills for Matt. A big win for Romario here. This was a tough matchup. 27-point victory there. That is very close. So yeah, big W for Romario to stay in that second seed firmly. Saab still in the mix for that number 4 spot at very least. But if I recall correctly, it would be pretty tough for them to end up in the 3. Actually, no. They certainly can make it to the 3 seed. Spicy with the 2 losses now, and Saab is at 3. So there is still room to move for Saab without a doubt. Next up, No-Go versus Late Arrivals here. No-Go 508 to 175 for Late Arrivals. I didn't get to cast this match. I was kind of up in the air. I wasn't sure, because we had a scrim scheduled for 8 with Goose, and we were supposed to have a bunch of people showing up to where we had extra players. And then come 7:55, I was the only player here. Thankfully, Grey Hair Mafia bailed me out, and it was me and 5 Grey Hair Mafia players playing against Goose in that scrim. So I didn't get to cast, unfortunately, though. I did want to see this game. But taking a look at the screenies here, first half, Allied side for No-Go, 312 to 89, a 49 kill advantage for them there. Nightmares with 22 kills for Late Arrivals, Secretly with 20, 16 apiece for Bo, Azilla, and Louie, and then 13 for Bullet. And on the No-Go side, Trance with a big game here, as we just saw in that frag of the week. 31 and 16 on that Garand. 28 for War Within, sniping Allied side. Again, what do I know? Greg, 27 and 19 with the bar. I'm guessing that's Stark, right? Playing as Spork, it's gotta be. 25 and 19 for him there on the other bar. That heavy team, whatever form it comes in, is always going to be strong. Matthew with 22 and 17 on one of the other Garands, and Deidre with 19 on the final. And then in the second half here, No-Go 196 to 86, 110-point lead, which is, I think, kind of like the reverse of what you saw in a lot of games. Usually, teams were winning their Axis side by more than whether they won or lost on their Allied side. But for Late Arrivals here, 32 kills for Azilla, sniping. Again, what the fuck do I know about sniping? 29 apiece for Bo and Secretly, 16 for Nightmares, and 11 a pop for Louie and Bullet. And then for No-Go, a big 35 kill half there for Matthew on a car. 24 for Trance, who also, again, frag of the week. 23 for Stark. 21 for Deidre on the Stas. 20 for War Within on the Sniper, and 19 for Greg on the STG. Big W for No-Go to stay in that winning column and keep the pace with Saab as they remain tied in the standings in that big, 5-team pileup going on in the middle of Silver. That's the match of the week. Next up, 3H versus M1 here, 760 to 138. 3H with a massive win. These two teams had the same record coming in. The winning team was going to leapfrog the other to move up in the standings. I believe there was actually a makeup game during this week too, right? Yeah, it's right here. So I'm going to have to go over that I'll go over that after this one, right? So 760 to 138, 3H over M1 here. First half, 3H starting off on Axis, 453 to 56. A 76 kill advantage for them there. On the M1 side, you had 18 for Alapec, 16 for three-sided quarter, 14 for Joel, 12 for Red Dog, 9 for Meep, and 5 for iJab. No Dustin here, which makes a huge difference. Obviously, he has been like the big fragger for M1 this season, whether he's sniping or if they had put him on a rifle in this game, which I had speculated maybe would be a good idea. But on the 3H side here for their Axis half, 31 for Illusion, continuing his great performances since coming over to this team. 28 for the Bear on the car. 27 and 6 for Ian Galasso there on the Sniper. 23 for Matt Rogers getting back in the action this week. He's been sort of 50-50 all season. Unclear how much he was going to get to play. I think he's played in 2 matches now, or maybe 3. 22 and 9 for Steve there, and then 19 for Defrag on another STG. And that, so no piff, I guess, in this game. So Defrag was heavying. And then in the second half here, Allies for 3H, Axis for M1, 307 to 82, a 55 kill advantage for 3H there. Meep with 26 kills on Axis side. Good half for him there. And Alapex, same thing, 21 kills for him. Really good performances there in a tough half. And then 19 for Quarter, 14 for Joel, 13 for iJab, and 11 for Red Dog. And on the 3H side, once again, Illusion with the top frag overall, 36 on the Garand, 13 flag caps as well, 32 for Steve Heisey. 18 deaths on the Garand there for him. And then 26 for Cam the Bear, 23 apiece for Defrag and Ian, and 19 for Matthew Big Dick Rogers. I kind of fucked up there a little bit. It's fine. So again, this win, big for 3H. They had the same record. A loss here would have meant M1 leapfrogging over 3H into that, I believe, 6th spot. Which I imagine is going to be where the playoff split cutoff is as well. So that is a big deal. And then to get into the makeup match that was played here, this was another big story, right? HRG getting on the board here this season. We're going to go over both of their games here. So first off, they played their Armory makeup game. 250 to 79 over M1. First half here, HRG on the Axis side, M1 on the Allied side. Again, no Moosh. And on this map in particular, with how good of a sniper he is, not optimal. It was a 41 kill advantage for HRG here. Starting off with M1, Red Dog with 32, Quarter with 29, Joel with 25, Alapex 22, 19 for Meep, and 13 for iJab. On the HRG side, Storm, man, what did I say? Storm getting in the game's going to be a major impact player. Always has been an excellent sniper, and obviously on a map like Armory, 38 and 17 for him there. And I can tell you, sniping that Axis side is no fucking cupcake of a cakewalk. 34 kills for ARG. What did I say last week? I want to see ARG getting in that lineup. That rifle team now with ARG, Mike, and Nitrox. That is a good rifle team for these guys. And then you got Nick and G heavying. I'm liking how this is looking here for HRG now. 32 kills for Gandhi, Mike there. That rifle team, 66 kills between the two of them, plus another 38 on Storm, and then on Nitrox on the Stas, 24. 29 kills for Head Like a Hole on one STG and 24 for G on the other. And then heading into the second half here, HRG 116 to 32, 183 to 139 were the kills. For M1, Red Dog again with a nice half there, 33 kills. He had 65 overall. Good effort out of him. 29 for Meep, having another nice Axis half there. He seems to have a lot of really good Axis halves. I know he had a couple of good Allied halves previously this season too, so it's just a matter of them coming at the same time. Meep is going to be a really fucking good player, I can tell. 23 for Alapex, 22 for Quarter, 16 apiece for Joel and iJab. And on the HRG side, wow, look at that. Storm with the big top frag. Overall, 40 and 18 on Allies. What a game for him. What was that, 30? It was 35 deaths, so he was, 78 and 35. Whew. That's the Storm we all know and love, right? 37 kills on one Garand for ARG. 31 kills for G on a bar. 28 for Nitrox on a Garand, 29 for Head Like a Hole on the other bar, by the way. I fucked that up. And then with no kills left to really be gotten, Mike with 18 on the Garand. That was one of those games where everybody else combined for like 170 kills. There's not much left to do. So there it is, the big first W for HRG. We were talking about that last week. They just have to find the right lineup. I said, if you can get ARG and Nitrox and Storm all into that lineup and just get the classes put together, this team is pretty fucking good. And guess what? They didn't stop at one. No, they doubled up. Because here on Anjou, in the actual match for this week, 499 to 287 over a Los Wick team that has looked very tough too and has continuously gotten better week in and week out. Let's see, for the first half, HRG on Allies take it 273 to 142, 12 more kills for them in that half. For Wick, Manga with 29, good half there, 29 and 25, 24 for Ryan, 22 for Luco, who we did see in the frag of the week with a really nice clip on the sniper rifle there. 15 for Empy, 13 for Poco, and 9 for Leto. And then on the HRG side, 26 for ARG, good half there on the rifle, 24 for Nitrox, 20 apiece for G and Storm, 19 for Gandhi, and 15 for Head Like a Hole. And then moving into the second half now, Axis side for HRG, 226 to 145. We have no idea what the kill difference was. We are missing Poco and Empy from that screenshot, it looks like. So, for the Wick side, 26 apiece for Manga and Ryan, 12 for Leto, and 11 for Luco. And then on the HRG side here, once again, ARG, man, what did I say? 29 kills, top fragging overall in this game. That half was with the car. 23 apiece for Nick and Storm. 23 and 15, nice little half there for Storm. 20 and 18 for Nitrox. 20 and 22 for G, and 16 for Gandhi. And again, just a big-ass win there. 2 wins for HRG, bumping them way up in the standings. Now they're just behind 3H. They've got 2 wins. 3H has 3. We're going to have to see what the lineup, or what the schedule looks like going forward, if they are potentially playing against each other soon. And then in the last game, the game of the week for sure here in Silver, this right here was going to decide whether Goose had any chance of getting knocked out of that 1 seed, or, I mean, I guess technically they could still, but they would then be tied with Spicy, and they would have the tiebreaker. And then the only way that they could get knocked out of the 1 seed now is if Goose lost both their next 2 games and Romario won. Because Goose Patrol wins 315 to 209 over Spicy here on Anjou. First half, Spicy on Allies, Goose on Axis, 189 to 64, a 33 kill advantage for Goose. Checking out the Spicy side, Matt Bazana with 23 kills there, 20 apiece for Stealth and Luke, 19 for Lynx, 16 for Laura, 15 for Ryan. No Stamp again this week, which is certainly unfortunate for Spicy. Lynx did just fucking fine there, you know, like you can't say like, well, if we had Stamp, obviously he would have won the game for us here. That's the nice thing about having such a reliable backup as Lynx, but certainly you prefer to have your starting 6, and in particular, Jared this season has been, I think, statistically the best sniper in Silver, right? Like, that is a tough guy to be missing there. But regardless, moving on to the Goose side of things, 35 kills for Brino, of course, 33 on Asani as well. This guy is insane. 26 for Ryan on the sniper rifle there. 23 for Hopper on 1 heavy. 20 for Nicholson on a car. 9 for Crawd, who I mean, I know what it's like having to do the job that he was having to do in that underpass, and it fucking sucks. And then on to the second half. 126 for Goose, 145 for Spicy. They win this half. They get out-fragged by 32, which again, we're seeing a half where there was an out-fragging, but not a win. But for the Spicy side of things, 24 apiece here for the dynamic duo of rifles, Dillard and Die Life. 22 for Stealth there. Kevin, we saw on the frag of the week, I believe that was his ally. No, he had clips on both halves. He had a nice underpass clip on Axis, and then the Tommy clip on Allies. 19 for Lynx there, and then Lauren Twist 13 and 11. And then for the Goose side of things, 29 on DB. I know nothing about sniping again. 28 for Asani, just continuing to be a god. 27 for Hopper. 25 for Brino. And 20 for Crawd. Most importantly, all around here, a win for Goose Patrol to remain hanging on just as tight as you can to that number 1 spot and looking to do something that has only been done once before, a wire-to-wire undefeated season and a championship. Clinic did it in Season 1. Then Clinic went undefeated until the semifinals in Season 3, where they were then upset and taken out by the Geese. Oh, no, wait, it was Lads, maybe? You know, I'm not so sure anymore. I want to say that it was the Geese. But in my head, I think it might have actually been Lads. Can I see... Oh, shit. KTP Silver S3. Yeah, let me go to that. Okay, yeah, it was the Geese. It was the Geese. The Geese took it 2-1. Clinic actually won the first map in that best-of-3 semifinals series. 407 to 313, I believe. So they won the if I recall correctly, and I could be wrong. Oh no, that would have been their map pick. So they won their map pick, lost the Goose map pick, and then lost the third map. 407 to 313, then 496 to 286, 231 to 161. So they were this close to having a shot at another undefeated season there, but Goose Patrol obviously made it to the finals in that season, won actually the first map of the finals, which was Lad's pick. And it looked like, wow, like they just won Lad's pick. They're definitely going to fucking win this thing. They got their map pick next, but Lads with the reverse sweep. So, Goose Patrol trying to do something that, as I said, has only been done once before. Wire-to-wire undefeated silver championship. Moving on to the gold side of things, let's just go straight to our matchup here. This was a fucking crazy game, 229 to 227. This thing came right down to the wire. I actually thought, after the game, I think half of us thought we won, and half of us thought we lost. I was under the impression they were going to have to cap out twice. Like just doing the math on the fly, it seemed like there was going to be no way that they could win without capping out twice, but I mean, obviously they won by 2 points, so I was off by 2 points. But this was just a crazy back and forth game, obviously. And this is, half of Icy Hot. We always talk about how these Icy Hot guys started off losing a bunch of these close games in heartbreaking fashion, and how from there they just started winning all the close games. And it shows here once again, keeping the poise down to the very, very end, being able to get a full cap when they desperately, desperately needed it, and then getting the win in the last, minute of the fucking game. So, first half here, 130 to 75 for Thunder on their Axis side, a 24 kill advantage for the Thunder Boys, 29 for Jules on the STG, 25 for J-Rod on a Stas, 23 for both the Sniper, Jagginator, and Toxinator, 21 for Dorito on the other rifle, and 14 for John Gale. For the chilled side of things, Bees with 25 on a bar, 19 for William Sick Blackwell on a Garand, 18 apiece for both Hildy on the Sniper and PB on the other Garand, and then Leo with 17 on one more Garand, and Chi with 14 on the other bar. So that's what, like a 55-point lead after that half. And then obviously here they win by 57. A kill lead for them of 2 on their Axis side. 154 to 97 was the score here for Children's Guild. On the Thunder side of things, you had 29 on Brian, Dorito, Deruda, 28 for Toxinator on one of the other Garands, 24 for J-Rod on that third Garand, 20 for Jules on the bar, and 16 apiece for John Gale on the Jagginator on the Sniper and a bar. And then for Children's Guild, Bees with the MVP of the game, undoubtedly 31 kills on the STG, a cap out that was just batshit. I don't even know what happened. 24 for Chi on the other STG, 24 for Sick on a Stas, 19 apiece for the cars of Leo and PB, and 18 for Ben on the Sniper / Unter. And yeah, 2 points. Like literally any one flag tick that happened, or even a flag capture, because I believe that teams were getting 2 points for capping all the flags effectively, I want to say it was, or any flag that wasn't their own, maybe? It was something like that. Or I think even if they capped back their own flag they were getting 2, I don't know, the config was all over the place. Somebody will have to, if you want to know what the deal was, you'll have to ask a fucking admin who can explain it, because I can't. But a massive win there for Children Skilled in the standings of gold there, because if Thunder had won that game, they're 4-3, and then they're playing over this week. Winner gets the 2 seed and a bye. Instead, Chilled squeak that one out. They're 4-3. They're playing over this week. Winner gets the bye in the first round, along with Bandits, who is locked in that 1 seed. All right, moving on to the next game here. I didn't get to cast any of the gold games, so I know nothing. I did watch the HLTVs. So I know a little bit of what went on. Over 371 to 269 for Clinic. A pretty close game there, 102 points. Basically 2 cap-outs when all is said and done. For the first half here, over on their allied side, Clinic on the Axis, a 2-point win, 151 to 149, and a 1-kill lead. So that half was as close as it fucking gets, really. On the Clinic side, Insom, who we did see in that frag of the week, dropping bombs 36 and 23 on the car, representing the Corys like no other can. 26 for Vic on that STG as well, a big important performance in that underpass. 23 for Carp and 21 sniping. 20 kills for Suave on one car, 17 for Candy on the Stas, and 15 for Tom on the other heavy. And for over, Devin on that bar, 31 and 16. What a half for him. 23 for Travis, 27 for Saka, and then 23 for Travis on Garands. 22 for Kum Kum on the other bar. 17 for Nick on the Allied Sniper, and 16 for Mata on another Garand. And then moving over to the second half here, Axis side for over. Whoever this is had different resolutions between the 2 screenshots. Kum Kum was swapping resolutions between the STG and I guess, is it the car? No, the STG and the bar. I get it, though. Like, if I'm heavy and I'd prefer to have a lower resolution, but I generally don't do it because I'm too fucking lazy. But here, Axis side for over, 222 to 118. They actually were outfragged again. We've seen this relatively frequently now in these screenshots where the Axis side are winning while being outfragged. I guess maybe that comes down to allies getting kills while holding a flag, desperately. But for the Clinic side, Vic again there, 28 kills on the bar. Great game for him and Underpass, which is a very, very important part of this map as it stood. 23 apiece for Carp and Suave there. Carpenter, just a very solid sniper game there with his kill total and KD. Suave, 23 and 22, a good KD as well. 22 and 22 kills for both Insom and Candy on a Garands. And then 13 for Tom, trying to hold Underpass when the rest of them have died. Somebody's got to do that job. We've seen, you can basically tell who it was who had the holding heavy job in every screenshot on this map. That's the way it's always been on a map like this, right? And then for the over side of things, as I was talking about, Saka with a massive car half there. You knew he was going to be good. We scrimmed them on this map earlier in the week, and he had an excellent car half. I think I wasn't in that half, so I was spectating people who were streaming in Discord, and Saka was just shitting all over the place. 30 and 23 for him. Slick Nick Patton, 29 and 19 on Axis side sniping. See, I know about sniping. Yeah. 28 and 23 for Devin. Great game for Devin on the heavy there. As this team continues to try to figure out what the lineup is going to be going forward into the playoffs, because there is a lineup for them that is the GOAT lineup and is going to go and potentially win it all. 22 for Travis on the Stas, 14 for Mata, Travis on the car, 14 for Mata on the Stas, and then Kum Kum with 2 on the STG. As I said, you can tell exactly who it was that had the passive heavy job. On every screenshot, Kum Kum with a tough half there. He's going to be just fine, though. Kum Kum's a beast. We've all had those halves more than once in our time. And then the final game. Wait, that's not it. Where's the final game? There it is. Bandits versus Grey Hair Mafia. For Bandits to have any hope of being dethroned off that last first seed, they were going to need to lose here so that they could have gone to 5-2 and then potentially been playing somebody in the last week who could have taken them out. But I believe the tiebreaker would have worked out in their favor anyways. I guess hypothetically, if Bandits had lost and they were 5-2, and then they played against... Well, then Gray Hair Mafia would have been 4-3, right? I don't know. There was, I think, some scenario where if Bandits had lost on Anjou, they could have been potentially a 2 seed, but it doesn't matter. They didn't fucking lose. They won. As we're about to see, 389 to 197 in the first half. Axis side for the Bandits. They win 190 to 105 at 18 kill advantage. For Gray Hair Mafia, 25 on Riv, 24 apiece for the rifle team of Sean and Jesse, 19 for Pibian on the sniper, and then 16 apiece for Tony and ProStar. And then on the Bandits side, 26 kills for CK, 25 for Timo, and 25 and 18 specifically for both Timo on a Stas and Justin on the sniper, continuing his reign of terror in the gold division on a sniper rifle. 24 for Andrade on that other car. 22 for Taylor on an STG, and 20 for Milo on the other STG. And then on to the second half allied side for Bandits here, 199 to 92, and a 37 kill advantage for Mafia. Big half for Sean there, 30 and 28 with the car, just trying to put the team on his back right there. What a half for him, the aim god. 19 kills for Riv, 18 a pop for all three of Pib, Jesse, and Cody, and then 16 for 9. And for the boys of the Bandit side, CK finishing out the top frag there with 33 kills on the Garand, 30 for Justin Lynch again, and then 28 for Milo on the bar. Great game for him on that bar. 22 for Andrew, 21 for Timo, and 22 for Taylor as well. Both bars there with a really good half for Bandits. They get the W. They lock down the 1 seed for the playoffs. Nothing more to be said on that. They have done it. That lone blemish actually happening in week 1 to Gray Hair Mafia. So hypothetically, if Gray Hair Mafia had won this game, they have a 2-0 tiebreaker on them, and I believe that was the potential scenario where if Bandits lost again and Gray Hair Mafia won again, they would have both had 3 losses, and Gray Hair Mafia could have leapfrogged over them and Chilled and over, because those are the 3 teams that they beat. But instead, Bandits play spoiler to that. They lock it up as a good team does, and they are not having to worry about the playoffs in the first round. They get to wait and see what happens as they go to the semifinals straight up. Unclear who the other team with a bye will be. That will be decided in one of these matches this week, which we are now going to get the fuck into here. Let me swap this sumbitch over. 46 minutes, I blew through that because I would like to see the end of this best of 3. I'm thinking there's no fucking way I'm going to see the end of this CS best of 3. I'm thinking it's already too far gone, but my voice is killing me already. I'm fucked. All right. Let's get into it here. So, looking at the silver side of things here, Saab versus M1, 3H versus Los Wick, HRG versus Spicy, Romario No-Go, that's a game with potential standings, implications, and then late arrivals and the boys of Goose Patrol. I would give the match of the week to Romario versus No-Go right off the bat, right? Alright, let's jump into this bad boy here. Let me swap this sucker out too. Take a swig of this energy drink. It's not balls anymore. I have no balls left. They're all gone. Sorry, I'm a thirsty, thirsty boy. So, Saab versus M. Why am I switching to that? Saab versus M1. For the boys of Saab, they do have a little bit of a rotating lineup. Really, all these players play at different times, right? Scotty, Manor, Nightmare, Yanni, Toki, King Yo, Caleb, and Baron. It really depends on who's missing most of the time, right? They have a lot of versatility in this lineup. Nightmare, Toki, and Yanni all snipers. Caleb generally heavying, Manor generally heavying, Nightmare can also rifle or heavy, Scotty's generally going to rifle, Baron can play anything, King Yo typically going to be on that third rifle, Toki can even heavy as well as we've seen in the past. And then for the M1 side of things, Alapex, Moosh, Joel Edmonds, 3-sided quarter, Red Dog, Meep, iJab, and Pizza Hut. I believe Pizza Hut has even gotten some playing time this season, so really it's another one where they could have anybody in the lineup, but most of the time it seems to be Alapex, Dustin, Joel, Quarter, Red Dog, and Meep are the main starting 6. This is a Lennon week, obviously, here, right? Yes, it is. So, on the Lennon side of things, it always comes down mainly to apartments, right? Apartments. Going to be super important for M1's heavies to be prepared for that heavy team of whether it's Caleb and Manor or, maybe Nightmare's car barring or Yanni's car barring, whatever the case may be. I mean, it'll be Manor and someone. You could see Baron heavying. Uh, that's a big key right there. The sniper matchup of, I assume, Dustin versus Toki. That will make Long a very interesting area. Toki and Kingyo versus Dustin and, maybe Joel, maybe three-sided quarter, right? You could see either or over there. I know that they can switch the lineup around quite a bit, so it could be anybody with Dustin over there, or they could just say, hey, Dustin's taking a car and going well, because Long is a little bit of a crapshoot most of the time, as we all know with snipers. And then in well, that potential matchup, is it Nightmare and Scotty? Is it Scotty and JN, Scotty and Baron, whoever the other car ends up being, But apartments really reign supreme on this map because it just goes straight through the middle of the map. You can insta-rotate to either double cap, straight through to the first flags. Obviously, blue room, majorly important when you're an ally. You can just shoot a whole fucking spawn wave down in an instant, or you can get up to the Jagon spot, as I call it, at swing door as an axis, and just sit there and snipe the spawn, though that was nerfed in the recent updates of Lennon because that birdcage area became much more difficult to deal with. They can hold that tight angle from birdcage. Now it's not so easy to just go up to upper apartments with a sniper, switch guns back and forth, and all that jazz. You gotta go with Saab here, right? But with a map like Lennon, if M1 can find some performances in apartments in particular, that's the way to get through it, right? That's the way to be able to pull off an upset in this week. You just need the heavies to have a good game plan and then execute it and hit the shots. That's what it comes down to because Saab will be prepared. This is a team in the truest sense of the word. They will not just be running around aimlessly fragging where you can catch mistakes and slide into empty soft spots. They will be minding their P's and Q's on their routes, but nobody is infallible in this game. If you can get a big performance in the apartments and then just one other guy on the map somewhere, whether it be because with Long, it's such a fast cap, you don't even need to be dominating Long on either half. You just need to make sure that you bottleneck them into the Long route. Don't let them get pushed beyond Long too far, whether it be up to back cave into the allied one or pushed out to Long steps and L Hall at the Axis one. There's certainly ways that M1 can win this game. I'm inclined to go with Saab here. Obviously, the classes for all the big players in this game will be a factor as well. Like I said, for Dustin, for Moosh, on the M1 side, does he stay sniping Long and try to push up on that extremity and make impact that way, or do you swap him over to a car, a Garand, so he can be pushing through well and supporting apartments, especially on Axis? Or is there a third Garand available even on your allied side where he can switch on and off of it depending on what the situation is? But yeah, I'm going to say Saab here by 3 caps. It comes down a lot to how many caps you can get on your allied side. It's tougher to cap on Axis. Certainly not impossible or really difficult compared to a lot of the other maps we play, like Thunder and shit like that. Still easier than that, but I'd say still it's easier to full cap on allies, but the map has become much more even overall. It's not so much of a how many points can you put up on allies anymore. So yeah, on to the next matchup of the week, 3H versus Los Wick. For 3H, it's a little bit of a crapshoot lineup-wise, right? Generally, though, you say say Piff, and then if Matt can play, but I don't he's only able to play every once in a while. Probably more like Piff and Defrag. Maybe we saw Steve heavy the 1 week as well. That's some form of the heavy team between those guys. And then rifle-wise, they have so many rifles. Illusion, the big dog here right now in this lineup, just going off since joining the team. Really, he hasn't stopped going off ever. And then him with the Bear as well on a rifle. Johnny as well on a rifle. And then if someone's missing, you could see Steve on a rifle. Or if both heavies are there, you could see Defrag, Big Bird if enough people are missing. Yeah, it all depends on who shows up for those guys. And then the Loswick side, they too have a lot of guys that are good and can play, but basically not what I've seen most of the time. You've got Jiraiya, Ryan, Manga. Luco was in last week, as was Poco and Empy. But we've seen Leto play. We've seen Luco play. We've seen AZ play. We've seen Super play. All these guys we've seen get in there. They have a lot of talented players. They are still a young team that are kind of finding their footing. And I mean, these guys to me just like smell like fucking. It's gonna be a sleepers team, right? Everything about this team reminds me of sleepers so much. They come in, they're all getting to play together and kind of find their vibe together and find their pace together, figure out the best lineup, figure out the best routes for everybody. They're a young team still. They show a lot of promise, like in their skill level and the way that they approach the game as a team. Um, I really do like, if you look back at season one, Sleepers, the way that they improved incrementally throughout the season until now, Sleepers is Romario. 6-1 right now, and one of, just at all times, one of the best teams in the game. Perennially, it doesn't get much better than what Romario has done from the beginning of KTP on to now. And that's what I feel like Loswick has to look forward to in their future. I really do. I think that they are. I mean, they seem very committed to it too, so I don't even feel like I need to say if they are around in another season. I believe they will be, and that this is the next team that you're going to see really climbing the ladder, so to speak. This is a tough draw, though, on a map like Lennon, man. Especially if 3H is able to get the Piff Modgers heavy team together for this week. That's a lot to put up with in apartments. Those guys both are good at this map. Both halves have a very good understanding of how things work on this map. It's tough to say what scenario. Like, you'd have to lock down. You'd have to hope that 3H doesn't have their starting heavy team, right? And then you're going to need, if they do have either of them around, you're going to need that guy to not have a really dominant game. You're going to need for Loswick to have a big performance in apartments. And then on Well, you got to deal with Illusion and Warchild, or Illusion and the Bear, or Illusion and Steve. Whatever the case may be, it's a really, really tough matchup on all three routes here, and 3H, is coming out to try to make a big run heading into the playoffs to try to be the first and only team to defend a silver championship, and win a second silver championship at all. Clinic got so close, as we talked about earlier. It's crazy to me still. They looked so unbeatable in that season, and it just, Goose Patrol in that semifinal with Debo on the team, I think he went fucking insane in that matchup, if I recall correctly, too, from the cast. So close to going that way for Clinic, but here we are now, 3H with the next chance to try to be a two-time silver champ. They're going to need to win this week. I think they will, but I think that Loswick will be able to surprise this team quite a bit. I have gotten to play against a good chunk of the Loswick guys on Lennon, and they too have a pretty good understanding of the do's and don'ts of this map. But again, for 3H, in any matchup, what it comes down to is who shows up. If they have their best six, they are, boom, right up there at the top with Goose Patrol, with Spicy, with Saab, with Nogo, all those guys. If they're missing enough people, it starts to, just slowly get down to more of a pug situation, right? But their, top 7, 8 players are just so good at the game. And when they're playing together, really, really difficult for them to lose. I got to take them here by, 3, 4 caps. Maybe a little bit more if you see like the starting 6 of 3H come out here, and in particular the Piff and Modgers heavy team that has been so good for 2 seasons whenever they get to play together. But for the Loswick side of things, this is just another step forward. I really I want a season 6 just in general, but I really want to see this team and what they're looking like at the end of a season 6, because I do think they have all that same ability that you saw out of Sleepers in their early days. And even obviously heavyweights didn't play beyond that season, but some of them are still around here and making massive impacts, right? Rafinha is the biggest one, I would say. Certainly the one that most people are going to talk about. But yeah, lots of talent in that Low Swick team. Just a tough draw this week. As we talked about before, there is going to be a split in the playoffs, too. I think that they are one of the favorites to be able to win in the Silver 2 playoffs and go get themselves a first championship, much like the way Sleepers did once upon a time. Just saying, lots of parallels between the two, and I really do like the makeup of that team. You know, having a guy like Empey on the team who's been around in the top echelons of the game forever, who really can speak from experience and help these guys continue to push forward as a team together. But yeah, 3H you got to take in this week's matchup. They are just such a strong team when they have their best six going. Next up, HRG versus the Spicy Buttholes. For HRG, based on last week, you had G and Head Like a Hole on the heavies. You had Mike, ARG, and Nitro on the rifles, and then Storm on the sniper. I really like that lineup. They do have other options if they're missing people. You know, Faraday's a good player. You can get the Blender in there on a heavy, Dullamus in there on a rifle, Gene as well. I even played against in a Lennon scrim last week, and he looked pretty good. You know, lots of options there, but their best six. I really like the look of that lineup. And then for Spicy, you got Kevin, Laura, Ryan, Jared, Matt, and Luke. And then you still have, of course, Blackhawk and Lynx both active enough to be able to step in on a moment's notice and do absolutely whatever they need them to do. This is a tough draw for HRG coming off of their big first two wins. But, I mean, they said they were having so much more fun just in general now. That's what matters. I think that they can put up a good game against Spicy this week. Spicy's really good at this map, though. I'm curious to see if Spicy has their starting six, if they continue to have Kevin heavying here and Stamp sniping. Stamp is really good at heavying this map. This and Railroad 2 in particular, he is really good on his routes heavying. He hasn't been there the last couple matches, so I don't know if maybe he just hasn't been able to play, if he'll be able to play this week. But certainly, you know, I mean, even if they do put Kevin on the heavy and Stamp on the sniper, they're going to be just fine. Like, that's what they've been doing all season, and they are in the number 3 seed in the division right now, and just played a close-ass game with Goose Patrol. Like, I don't think that's a make or break situation. I know that Stamp is really fucking good at heavying Lennon. Him and Twist are, you know, however many Lennon games I've seen them play, they've always played really, really well together in those apartments. But Kevin, this is also a kind of map where Kevin's play style, if he's heavying, means he has way more free reign to go do what he does. Get crazy multi-frag streaks, you know, every couple lives or whatever. So, either way, Spicy's good. I think HRG can absolutely keep this game close and be in a position to win. Good. I mean, I can say it till I'm blue in the face, right? Apartments is very important on this map. Most important thing on the map, easily. Long is a coin flip at all times. It's such a fast cap. You basically can't break it 99% of the time. It can go back and forth, back and forth. Well is obviously another one that's not quite as much of a coin flip, but if you have apartments control, generally they're not going to be able to get well because you're in double windows, right? So much relies upon control of apartments. I know Spicy fully understands that. I have no doubt about that. We've seen it a million times. HRG gonna have to find a way to counteract how fucking good Spicy is in every part of this map. I'll be interested to see how that goes. I think that's going to be a fun match to watch either way. I'm curious if Storm will play against Storm. I've seen have some really good games on Lennon. That's the thing too. Like if one of your long players goes insane, we saw it with No Name in seasons past, where like if you have a long player that is just sticking it up the ass of your entire team, getting pushed up every time, that can throw the rest of the map into disarray. Because like on Allied side, you push up to long steps in L. You're right there at the Axis spawn, so you can pick off the apartments players before they can even sniff the apartments, you know? So this is a potential avenue here, right? Like, even if they're not winning the apartments battle straight up, if, say, someone like Storm on long, you know, even Storm and Nitro, if they can put up a big game, getting pushed up and really just being a thorn in the side of the spawns, that's a way to do it, right? But you gotta go with Spicy here, man. Spicy's been so good for so long. They gotta be one of the two favorites right now to win the whole division. You say Goose, Spicy, and Romario. Those are the three teams that, in my mind, are really the premier silver championship favorites. Certainly, you have Saab and 3H and Nogo right behind them. And there's different reasons for why, what win conditions for each team to be able to go on and take this thing. Best of threes, it's always fucking crazy DoD. You never know what's going to happen. But Spicy, I have no doubt, should be able to weather any storm HRG put towards them. I think this will be a closer game than you might have expected looking at the standings a couple weeks ago. I'm going to say Spicy by, 100, say. But I could see HRG making this thing even closer than that, just with a couple of good performances out of the right guys, So yeah, on to the next one. Late Arrivals versus Goose Patrol. Of course, the Honk Honk Goose Patrol in the building. They've got a really, really solid 9-man team here. Generally, though, you're going to see Hopper and Crawd, who I think, again, have been like the best heavy team in silver this season. Just been excellent. And then DB on a sniper. And then generally, you have Brino, Bromley, and Nicholson on 3 rifles. Or if any of them is missing, Asani, right? Who is a god. And then Reptar, Bobby, able to step in on a rifle anytime and be amazing. And then Zampolet able to step in on really whatever class they need. And there's a lot of versatility on this team. They can basically all play any class. I can tell you even DB can play any class and has in KTP. So they could be missing basically anybody, and it doesn't really fucking matter. They are just built to win and to never lose. And then on the late arrivals side, you got Bullet, Bow, on the heavies generally, or Nightmares ends up barring sometimes. It kind of depends. Azilla on the sniper, been doing a great job this season. Secretly and Louis on rifles as well. I love that team right there. Secretly and Louis. It's a lot of frag power, and this is the kind of map where they can really, really run loose and make shit difficult for Goose. Do I think that they can overcome and win? I think that there would have to be a lot of shit going wrong for Goose for late arrivals to turn this thing into a win, certainly. But between those two guys, depending on how they use them, what route they're going and everything, and then Nightmares as well, we've seen Bullet do a really good job of making things difficult in apartments for teams on Lennon. That's certainly another factor, right? But I mean, you got to deal with PDX no matter what. That's tough for anyone to do. I can speak to this from personal experience. You can game plan for it all you want. Brino's going to get his. He's going to get a lot of nade kills. He's going to get him at your 1. He's going to get him in double caps. He's going to get him in apartments. He's going to nade you until you never want to see a little grenade show up on the screen again. And then he's going to kill you with guns too. It's a lot to overcome, but I think late arrivals can keep this a lot closer than you might think looking at the standings in between these two teams. I think they have the right players to be able to at least put up a real fucking fight against Goose Patrol, just route to route. But you got to take Goose Patrol to win it by like 4 caps, right? Just speaking to the general, if everything is baseline, exactly what you'd expect out of everybody, Goose are clicking on all cylinders. They got no holes in their lineup. Even when they're missing guys, they have excellent, reliable backups to fill in any spot. Asani might be the revelation fucking player of the season. I had not heard of him before this season, and when you watch him play, he looks like, any of the guys rifling at the top of gold. He has been ridiculous every single game he plays. So, Goose Patrol, got to take him to stay undefeated here and finish this thing out. And then, obviously, in the playoffs, anything can happen. But I suspect they will at very least finish the regular season undefeated. And then the obvious match of the week choice here, Romario versus Nogo. This is going to be a fun one. On the Romario side, you got Rafinha, of course, on a car. LZL with them, that rifle team, along with BLK, man. So good, those 3 rifles. And then, obviously, if someone's missing, doesn't matter, because you can put in Fanaki, you can put in Lobaton, you can put in Zaps, you can put in Burn on a light. Just so much deep skill on this team, but just generally speaking, Rafinha, LZL, and BLK has been arguably the best rifle team in silver, right? When it comes to all three of them performing at a level commensurate with that title. Very, very good. And then, man, Bud and Matt, a perfect heavy combination there with their play styles. We've already seen in the past Bud on Lennon and the impact he can have as the more passive holding heavy, allowing guys like PDX or Booten or Evan P12 being able to sort of run around the map without having to worry about losing this extreme crux spot of apartments. Now Bud gets off the leash, man, and I can tell you, this guy's going to put up some fucking numbers on Lennon. If you think that he was dropping bombs on Armory and on Anjou and on Anzio, wait till you see what Bud's going to do on Lennon. And then, Mand, of course, on the sniper, has, again, is a guy who has been top 2 snipers in the division. He might even be ranked number 1 statistically now, since Jared Stamp has missed a couple games. I'm not sure about that. I guess I could check the stats, right? 5 stats. Let's have a looky see. Silver. There's Mand. Yeah, they're tied now. 1.66, the KDs for the two of them there. Very nice. Very nice. So Mand is right there. There's obviously Toki, PDX, and Bud. Man, the T3 guys right there in the KDs. There's PDX again in the frags per matches. Bud in the overall frags as well. KTP rating goes the way of PDX. There's Mand, though, not far off. And Stamp, Toki, and Luke. Very, very good stuff there. Lots of strong players. You can see Kevin there in the overall frags. Stark as well. There's Luke again on the frags. Caleb in the flags per match. King Yo overall. Matt dying less than anybody. Bud not far behind him either. PDX averaging about 31.5 kills per half. Luke averaging about 32.5. Matt Fazan. There's that dynamic rifle duo right there. 30 kills a half for each of them. Over that. Just really, really impressive stuff. Yeah. So, back to what I was saying on the no-go side. So they're a lot more of a toss-up on who's going to play. As I talked about before, the heavy team, it's probably most of the time Spoon and Stark, which is a really good heavy team. And we've seen Greg and Stark both on this map have huge games. You have Tony Compton, who can certainly come in and heavy anytime, right? He seems as if he's playing, he's going to rifle, I think. I don't think he heavied when he played on Anzio against 3H. I don't know. I don't say for sure. But if Tony gets in there, whatever class he's on, that's a gold tier player. He only played gold for the previous 4 seasons, so this is a guy who's instant X Factor level of potential fragging. And then Deidro on a rifle, Matthew on a rifle, Trance on a rifle generally, but you've also seen Anna get in there as well. And then obviously War Within on a sniper, been great. He's great whatever class he plays. He's extremely versatile, which is very valuable in this day and age where, not everybody can fucking show up every weekend. So, if you got a guy who can play every class, it always makes things much easier to play around with. This one is tough. It's one of those things. We've seen Rafinha and LZL both have monster games here, right? You're going to need that rifle team of no-go on well, finding a way to not let those guys go too insane. You need to, especially Rafinha, we've seen him just get like 49 kills and shit like that on either half. I think especially on their Axis side, those two guys can really run wild and just be everywhere. Good luck keeping track of them. Good luck not getting wrecked by them. And then obviously, in apartments, Bud and Matt. Perfect style of heavy team, the perfect mixture. Bud is an absolute stud. And now he gets to be the guy who's going to be able to push forward and go frag crazy. And when he's off the leash, man, good luck dealing with it. Gonna be a lot for Spoon and Stark, or Spoon and Tony, or Stark and Tony, whatever it ends up being. You gotta find a way to deal with that. Those are the two big, big things, is the rifle team, because this rifle team of Romario is so strong, and then apartments, yet again, every match comes down to that so much. That's a big ask, right? And Romario has not looked to show any holes in their game whatsoever. They obviously took a loss to Goose on Anzio, but that's their lone blemish. Outside of that, they have been flawless all season. I'm inclined to say they're going to do the same here, but certainly on a map like Lennon, upsets happen all the goddamn time. Shit can get so out of hand so fast, and then mentally, it's very difficult to keep yourself in the game when it's just a steady stream of getting fucked at your spawn, right? If No-Go can find a way to put the hurtin' on Romario to pick up the pace, put the pace to them, and even if they don't like get the full caps, just pushing them back into a situation where they have to shell up at their one over and over again, that alone, I think, can be enough to where you can keep that ball rolling throughout the whole game, even if you don't get the cap outs, you know? They need to establish the pace themselves. If you let Romario dictate the pace, they're playing their own game, they're going to smoke you. You gotta find a way to break through that and put the pace on them. Do I think Romario's going to lose? No. I do not think Romario is going to lose. I think that they will probably win by like 80 to 100 here, but there is more than any other match this week in Silver. No-Go has a route to win here. It's going to depend on their lineup, first of all, getting their best six, getting a couple scrims in if at all possible, and having an idea of what they want to do in order to be the ones to dictate the pace of the game. Whether it be deciding on like either half to flood the shit out of well to try to make that flank happen into apartments. You can flank long, obviously, too, doing the same thing very quickly. Or if it's like, you know, kind of letting the well team, you know, Rafinha and LZL just kind of not have anyone to kill there. You know, send one guy well, give up the well cap, but just sit there and make sure that they're stuck in that area if you can. Flood long, flood apartments, whatever the case may be. But if you flood apartments, beware, Bud might just kill all four of you, and you might get posterized in mutiny. So, that's what No-Go is going to have to do to have a chance to win. Romario, you know, they're so fucking good, man. I love that team. They're a great fucking team. But No-Go, man, this is a tough assignment, but one that is very doable. Very, very doable. I think Romario is too fundamentally sound as a team and as individual players to make the number of mistakes that they would have to make to lose this game. I think it'll be like 2 to 2.5 caps that they take it by, but we've seen Romario play a lot of crazy close games too. It seems like the dramatics are always shining when Romario's in the server, so maybe this game ends up being some crazy last-second cap out like we've seen in games past on Lennon. That does it for Silver. Moving on to Gold. So in Gold, we have one game where there's effectively nothing on the line in the standings. That's Bandits versus Clinic. They're both locked in their spots right now. The 1 and the 6. Then Over versus Chilled. Winner gets the 2 seed and a bye. And then Thunder versus Grey Hair Mafia. So how is it that this works? Let me look at the standings here. Okay, so Thunder. All right, let's say Over wins. If Over wins, they're the 2 seed. Chilled is 4 and 3. Chilled is 4 and 4. We're 4 and 4. Gray Hair's 3 and 5. Clinic is 1 and 7 in that case, and they're 7 and 1. How does that work? So if we win and we're 4 and 4, we're tied with Chilled, who have beaten us twice. So they would get the 3 seed, and it would be Chilled versus Clinic. Over in the 2 seed gets a bye. Thunder versus Grey Hair Mafia for back-to-back weeks. If Chilled wins, they go to the 2 seed. Over is 4 and 4. Thunder 4 and 4. We get the tiebreaker over and be the 3 seed and play Clinic. If Grey Hair Mafia wins to go to 4 and 4, they have the tiebreaker over both teams. So either way, if Grey Hair Mafia wins, they get the 3 seed. And then Thunder would be bumped to the 5 seed, I believe. So they would be playing the loser of this game. I think that's all the scenarios. That's basically how it runs down, right? Like, if Grey Hair Mafia wins, they have the tiebreaker over everybody that they could potentially be tied with. So they jump to the 3 seed with the win. If Thunder wins, it depends on who comes out of this game, right? If Chilled were to win this game, or were to lose this game, and we're tied, Chilled gets the tiebreaker. They're the 3 seed. We play Grey Hair Mafia. If Chilled wins, we have the tiebreaker over. We get the 3 seed, they're the 4 seed playing Gray Hair Mafia, and we're playing Clinic. That's the basic rundown of how these matches shake out this week. Right away here, Lennon Thunder versus Gray Hair Mafia. On the Thunder side of things, Tox, Jules, Ryan Emo, J-Rod, Brian, Dorito, and me. And on the Mafia side of things, Sean and Jesse on rifles, Tony on the third rifle, but he's usually using a Tommy Unter. Cody and Kellen on the heavies, and Pibian on the sniper. Lots of skill across the board here in this game. This is going to be a game full of fireworks. Expect a lot of movie clips. Yeah, this is going to be, I think, like we had to play Gray Hair Mafia on Thunder, which I think was a boring map for us to have to play each other, considering the strengths that both teams bring to the table. This is kind of what I was hoping that we'd get to play them on. A map where it's going to be 12 players running wild. Who's going to get the most movie clips and win the game? Because that's what's going to come down to. Who's getting the most movie clips and wins the game? A battle of Sean and Jesse versus Tox and Brian. Crazy. An apartments battle of River Oyster and ProStar versus Jules and Ryan Emo. Crazy. And then me and J-Rod versus Pibian and 9 on long. Crazy. Who can hit the most long all the way across long no scopes between me and Pibian? I can assure you he will get more pistol kills than I will, because my pistol doesn't work and his is insane. I do not look forward to the kind of shellacking I'm probably going to take in this game, because this is the kind of a map where Pibian, I think, will really thrive. It's a lot of just like clear out your route, hope not to get naded, and then get pushed up to a spawn and do some work, right? And that's where Pibian shines, is in multi-frag situations where he is able to just go out there, no scope, pistol headshot, no scope, or whatever. He's very, very good at maneuvering in those situations. It depends on how well I'm playing if I'm good. That's certainly the situations when I'm playing well that I too thrive in. It's just a matter of if I play well. So you could see the same kind of thing out of both of us there. J-Rod and Tony on long against each other will be very back and forth. We'll see if Tony sticks with the lights for the mobility, the run and gun style, or if he goes with the third rifle to have the second nade, because certainly on Lennon, nades are rampant. You can't avoid it. And then obviously, I've talked many times about how legendary a heavy team a ProStar and River Oyster is versus Jules and Ryan. That's so much frag power. This thing is probably going to be back and forth in apartments all over the place. Obviously, if Gray Hair Mafia is missing anyone too, you got Corey, Hypnotic, and Booten all able to step in, which is, again, really nice backups to be able to throw in there. So yeah, good luck, have fun to Gray Hair Mafia. I think that this will be a crazy, crazy, crazy game, and there's certainly a lot on the line here. Gray Hair Mafia with the win, they ensure that they are the 3 seed. And Thunder with the win ensure at least that we will not be the 5 seed. And then, yeah, like I said, it depends on who wins over versus Chilled. For us to move to the 3 seed, we need Chilled to win. And in which case, we would play Clinic in the first round. And then if we do win, but over wins their matchup, then we stay at 4 and we play Gray Hair Mafia back-to-back weeks. Although there's a week off in between there for Easter. Okay, then, as I just alluded to, over versus Chilled. So much on the line here. Winner gets the 2 seed and a bye for the first round, which you know is nice. I don't need to tell you twice. For the boys of Over, I've talked about this lineup all season long. When they got the right 6 guys, they are as good or better than everybody in the game. So much potential ability here. Generally, it looks like their lineup has been Nick, Slick Nick, Patton Man, Hat Trick Nick, Slick Nick, whatever you want to call him. The guy's an absolute god. As a caster, especially, I love but also as a sniper, getting to watch him play, always fun for me. Seeing what he's going to do on Lennon is fun too, because this map, I personally don't love to snipe. I hate being kind of limited to a 2-man route that's off on an extremity, so far away from the other two-man route, double cap route, that is. But Nick always finds ways to get impact on this map. On the heavy, you generally will see Devin and Caffrey, right? And then rifle-wise, you got Kum, Saka, 50, and Mata. Some combination of those guys. Till hasn't played yet this season, and from what I understand, he probably won't. He's been traveling abroad and stuff, so he hasn't had a chance to play, but you never know. Maybe come playoff time, there's even a lineup where they have James in there. And then, of course, on the chilled and skilled side of things, they got the God Squad now, boys, and everyone's in trouble. Leo, PB, and Sick as a rifle team. Jesus Christ. Chi and Bees as a heavy team. Jesus Christ. And then Hildy as a sniper. Obviously, plenty of skill in the backups as well. Austin able to play anything. Ben on a rifle. Raven able to play anything. Man, I don't know. This is very, very difficult, this matchup. In apartments, assuming all starters are there, right? And you have Devin and Caffrey up against Bees and Chi. I don't know. I don't know. I think for the chilled and skilled side of things, their heavies have a more classic playstyle mix where Chi is going to not over push if Mitch dies, right? Whereas on the overside, both Caffrey and Devin are like the fucking Terminator. You know, they're looking for that next frag at all times. For better or for worse, certainly there's times where like you shouldn't do that because if you die, you're fucked. But it works out for them most of the time because they're both so goddamn good. So that's kind of what the battle in apartments is all about. You know, you figure when Bees dies, if Chi is alive, he's not just going to go running straight down Blue Hall and just give up that massive crux of a spot in apartments. It'll depend what prevails here, right? The absolute Terminator-esque aggression on the overside, or that mixture, that more classical balance on the chilled and skilled side. On the well side of things, man, Justin and Leo, like, fuck, dude. That is another very scary well team. I've had to play against Leo millions of times on Lennon across these 5 seasons, and he always puts up really good performances, especially on allies. Justin, we've seen in the cast drop 40 bombs across Lennon's halves over and over again. And then for them potentially going up against Kum and Saka, or is it Saka and 50, or is it Kum and 50, whatever the case may be, all these guys are good at Lennon. I think Kum and Saka as a rifle team on Lennon in particular might be the best rifle team on Lennon that has been playing together for most of these seasons. We've played over, I couldn't even tell you how many times on Lennon across these 5 seasons, and even before then, like leading into the first season, scrimmed them on Lennon millions of times, and Kum and Saka are always, always good. So that, again, a heavyweight battle in the well there, too. PB and Leo versus Kum and Saka. That's a fucking coin flip. I have no idea, especially on this map, because Kum and Saka historically always find success on well together. And then a long battle of Nick and 50, I would say, or is it Nick and Mata? You know, obviously if it's Mata on a Stas going long, he's able to pick up that sniper rifle all the time. He's gone that route plenty of times before. There's no issue there. If it's 50, I know he has gone long and been able to find 80 kills doing so many, many times in the past. On the chilled and skilled side, you got Ben, of course, Hildy on the sniper, and then is it William, I'm guessing? Or maybe, you know, maybe they're doing something a little different here. I've seen Leo go long on his allied side, well on Axis. You know, maybe you have William go long on Axis and well on allies. I don't know. But that's another ridiculous battle on that side. Ben versus Nick alone is such a fun sniper matchup. Who can hit the craziest wall shots? You know, does Ben's letting the scope come back up and insta-shooting win out over Nick's 1 Lug, 1 Colt, insane pistol when they both miss a shot, right? Because they both have very different methods of that next peak. If it's Ben, if they both miss, then Ben is just going to strafe out, let the scope come back up, and right when it gets back up, shoot. And it's going to be about a half a second faster than he could have repeaked if he quick switched. So there's a cadence issue when you're sniping against Ben if you don't know what to expect already. That's something that all snipers need to take into account here. I'm sure Nick will. The guy is, as smart a sniper as there's ever been. Whereas for Nick, if he misses that sniper shot, he's just going to shoot 2 pistol bullets at your head, and you're probably going to fucking die. We saw it on Armory. We've seen it a million times before. I have no idea who's going to win this game, in case that isn't clear. If I had to put down $1 million on this game, I, honest to God, fucking hand on my chest, have no idea who I would pick in this game. I think that this matchup, this map in particular, makes it that much closer for two teams that are already the same record and play close games with each other. Because over on Lennon is an even more different beast than they are on every other map. Man, I assume it's going to be a close game, right? Assuming it's going to be a close game, Chilled and Skilled being, half Icy Hot or whatever, however many Icy Hot players they have. I think Austin was on Icy Hot at 1.2, so like 4 Icy Hot players they have across this roster. I've talked about it before. They got a lot of experience in those single-digit close fucking games. Even on this map, we saw them win by last-second cap-out to eliminate PMC in a playoff game on Lennon once upon a time, if I recall correctly. I mean, that definitely happened. I just don't remember if it was a playoff game or not. I forget. Because I have no other criteria to say this team is favored over this team, that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to say Chilled and Skilled by single digits, because those guys have become very accustomed to understanding what it takes to win in these obscenely close games across all these seasons. They just did it again last week to prove that yet again. Close games for these Icy Hot Chilled and Skilled guys, they find a way to make it happen. But I would not put money on this game at all, because you could lose. It's a 50-50. I'll flip a fucking coin right now if I had one. Where my coins at? I don't got a fucking coin. I'm going with Chilled and Skilled by 2 points, because they just beat us by 2 points. So here's where it wouldn't be a single-digit win if it's a last-second cap-out to win by, 39 or something, right? We see that shit happen all the time, too. Whatever it is, it's going to come down to the wire. I can assure you of that. And I think all 3 routes are going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because these guys are so well matched on each and every one of them. And on to the final game of the gold season that I have to predict before the playoffs. Bandits versus Clinic. Bandits locked in at the 1, Clinic locked in at the 6 here. For Clinic, Tom and Vic on the heavies. I really like the way they play together as heavies. I've talked about it before, which bodes well, certainly, in a game like this. Sam on the 3rd, Scott and Corey on the main rifles, and Carp on the sniper. All these guys have historically been able to find success on this map, but they got a real tough draw this week. I believe it will be Milo and Kaboom on the heavies, from what I understand. It looks like Arachnid is going to be back this week, potentially, as well. So, probably Justin gonna get to rifle if he's playing, if he's gonna be there. Andrew, likely on a car, right? And CK on a car. That would be my guess. Just double check on that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there we go. Definitely Milo and Chris on the heavies. And then Colin is 50-50. Arachnid is 50-50. You figure CK will definitely be there because it's Corey, right? And then, with this team, it doesn't really matter. They have so many good players, right? Whoever gets in there, they can all play any class. Whatever the case may be, their lineup is going to be stacked. So let's say, hypothetically, it's CK, Andrew, and Timo on the rifles. CK is going to get 1 million fucking nade kills. And then Chris and Milo on the heavies, and Arachnid on the sniper. And then if someone's missing in those rifles, it's Justin Lynch instead on a rifle. What, man? What are you going to do against this team? They're so stacked. They are so stacked. You're missing Taylor, and you get to just put Chris in there on the heavy on this map. Chris and Milo have heavied this map together who knows how many times, for how long they have played together as a heavy team over the years. A very, very tough draw for Clinic here. This is a map where individually, all these players, too, for Bandits, they all are very good at it. I don't know that I've ever gotten to snipe against Arachnid on Lennon, but I've sniped against Justin for years on this map, and he will find a way to get his, without question. And then CK, we've seen a million times. He will go like 45 and 32, both halves, go 90 and 60 overall, and he'll have like 74 nade kills, right? Milo and Chris in Apartments, very likely to find a way to have 30 kills or more both halves. And then Colin as well on this map. We've seen a million times how impactful he can be. Anjou, same thing. It's just such a deep lineup for Clinic. This is a map where I think it's favorable for them all around. If this were any other team that they were matched up against, I would be saying how I think Clinic very likely could win this game, right? Because when it comes down to a map like this where a lot of it is about aim battles in very tough situations, where it's like you got multiple guys on crazy angles that you got to deal with, and Clinic has so many nutty aimers that they're able to find ways to come out of those situations on top. But against Bandits, man, it's just like, even if you kill those first 4 guys, what's left over? Like a Chris and a Milo, or a Justin and a CK, or a Timo and a Gall, or an Element and Arachnid. You know, there's just so many combinations where you could see like 6 players pushing up against 2, and you could reasonably expect those 2 players will find a way to come out on top in that matchup, because they're just so good at killing multiple people at a time. Man, it's very unfortunate in that regard for Clinic, but I don't think that they're going to just get blown out. These guys are all so fucking good mechanically that in a map like this, when the chips are down, they will get kills. They will hit their shots. They will hit crazy shots. Carpenter will be able to find ways to get pushed up on both halves, 2 spawns, and pick off a few people from there. And if you can find a way to work through off of that, spawn picking, where then you've thinned out half the team, and now like, oh, well, that's 2 heavies and a rifle, so they're probably like in Red Room and in a blue hall or something, and can work off that. Tom and Vic work really, really well together. That's a very tough matchup to have, but certainly with how good their teamwork is off of one another, this is a map where they could at least limit the impact that, because Kaboom and Milo are going to have impact. There's no way around it. However many matches these guys have played on Lennon, probably 98% of that time, they have found a way to get at least like 50 total kills, right? I would bet that they have very rarely ever had games on Lennon with less than that. So it's just about damage control in Apartments. CK is going to be throwing insane nades, right? The thing is, you can live by that sword and die by that sword. He's just going to chuck those nades. So don't put yourself in too many positions where the typical nade timing, you are in that typical nade spot. Because if you can cut out a lot of CK's nade kills on this map, you can cut out his impact by that much too. He will get a lot of kills if he's getting the usual nade kills he gets, without a question, because he's very good at doing that on Lennon. And then it's just balls out aim battles, and when it comes down to the rest of the game, which is 50-50 with guys on Clinic. They are all so good at video games. Their aim and their reaction time and their general dexterity when it comes to being able to counter strafe and all that stuff. Like, they are all so good at that, and that is, on a map like this, usually the most important thing. So often, it'll come down to just like, oh shit, we have 3 guys alive, and they have 4 guys pushing blue and underpass. We just got to hit these shots, and then we can actually go get a double cap. And then you just got to not miss. So, I'm going with Bandits here to go 7-1. Lennon, I think, is going to be potentially their best map as a team. We haven't got to see them play a match on it, but I think this could very well be their best map as a team. I'm going to say by like 90 to 100 points. But yeah, for Clinic, these guys are all so good. If they have a above average game even, out of like 3 to 5 of them here. Doesn't have to be every one of them, but just finding a guy on each route who's able to really like go off for 60 kills. I mean, I'm making it sound like this is very easy, but it's not. Certainly, though, they have the players who are capable of that on each route. All of them. You could see both Carp and Candyman have insane games on long. That makes things a lot tougher on the Apartments team of Bandits if they're constantly having to deal with a long player pushing up behind them or getting up to the spawn. So there are ways for Clinic to win this game. I just think this is going to be Bandits' best map as a team, regardless of lineup. I honestly think you could just pick 6 names out of a hat on the Bandits roster, and they would have a lineup that can beat anybody on any map, but especially on Lennon. I think they are particularly strong on this map. Wow, so it's an hour and 40 minutes. I thought I was going to cut this time down by a lot more than that, but here we are. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck this week. This is the last regular season week for Gold. We're going to know exactly what the matchups are after this week for the playoffs. For Silver, they have one more regular season week on Halley, so things are still a little bit more up in the air. If Goose wins this week, they clinch the 1 seed. If they lose this week, they are still most likely going to have the 1 seed, but then if they lose again, there is a way for them to drop from that 1 seed. Very unlikely, though, I can assure you. Thank you to Caleb for that frag of the week. That was sick. And don't forget to submit to this one this week as well. I'm guessing War Within is going to be doing it again because he's had a couple weeks off now. Justin gave him a spell there for Armory, and now Caleb for Anjou, which I'm sure was really, really nice for War Within because I know how stressful it is making 1 frag of the week, let alone doing it for 6 straight fucking weeks. The guy is a god. So yes, thank you guys for watching. Good luck this week. Hopefully, I will get to cast a bunch of games since I only got to do 1 this past week. No clue what time our game is at as of right now, so it's kind of up in the air. Hopefully, we'll play, but if we play at 10, then I can't cast the Bandits game, which is unfortunate. I don't know, but regardless, whichever games I'm not casting, Blender will be able to cast pretty much all the rest of it. He's been such a fucking awesome guy, stepping in and casting as much as humanly possible right off the bat, which is allowing more and more teams to always have eyes on them in streams doing casts, which has just been really, really great for the community as a whole. So thanks to Blender for that. He's been excellent. And yeah, everyone, KTP, thank you for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you Sunday. Get that practice in. You got to get that practice in, man. It's Lennon. This is movie clip week. Peace out. Go watch the major, too. Actually, before I go, let's have a looky-see at what's going on in this major. Oh, it looks like the Spirit Navi game is already over. Gonna just go here to check it. Let's see. Wow, Spirit did it, 2-1. As I said, them Navi letting Mirage through was a pretty big mistake. Shiro, 57 and 31. Wow, look at Donk, of course, almost gets 60 kills. JL, who had 40 kills on Nuke. And then the Young Gun, Wonderful, 55 and 43. I'm sure that Navi is going to end up in the playoffs of the major anyways, but yeah, Spirit moves on. Let's go. We'll see what happens in the rest of these games and what matchups there are. Ecstatic is actually up 1-0 on Furia right now. Loser is out in this game. That would be horrible for Brazil to lose Furia out of the major right now. Let's see. Ecstatic won on Overpass, which was actually Furia's map pick. Oh no. Oh no. Who's doing what? Fallen having a good game on Overpass there, but they lost, damn. Alright, anyways, sorry. Just wanted to see what was going on there. Now, love you guys and peace out.